Well, here we are. Oberon has finally taken the stage, aka the Mothman. Good morning, Avalon. I was not planning on having a stream, especially on a Thursday, because as you know, I do not stream Thursdays. But here we are. He dropped, I believe, yesterday, and I was asleep. And yeah, we're just gonna leave it with that. He's here. And because he's here, we're here to roll, as you can tell. So with that, let's get on with it. Despair, that is. But anyways, I'm going to go down how we're going to go about this. It'll be the same thing as last time with Koyanskaya polls. We'll be going over... Here, sorry, let me back this up. We're going to do the once per day, one-time summon, which I'll explain and get into. Then we're going to do the summon tickets. And after we're done with the summon tickets, like our last gacha roll on Foxy Lady, we will be doing the 11-time summon, the 30 Saint Quartz. And while we're doing that, we will be going over Oberon himself and his skills, and whether you should roll, Grail, Max Foe, all of the above. Basically everything about the Fairy King. Although, because I have not finished Lost Belt 6, I will not go over his third skill, because when we did play him in the story, his third skill was blocked. And I believe the reason why it was blocked is because it has something to do with him and spoilers. Because when we played with him, if you're new to the stream, I stream Fate Grand Order and/or Arc Knights, and we're currently in the middle of Lost Belt number 6. And we have not finished it, and I'm assuming that something will happen with Oberon, and that third skill being hidden is obviously evidence of that. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen, but with that, I will not be going over his third skill, so we will be going based off of just his first skill, his second skill, Noble Phantasm, stats, all of the above. Just everything about him that we know. So we'll be doing the one-time summon, the summon tickets, which we're only doing 10. I don't want to use 14 because I want to do an even number and get that double summon off the 10th. And then we'll be going straight into the 11-time summons. And while we're doing that, we will be going over his stats and whatnot. And same thing as last time. 2 times I'm going to say this. We will be going through the summons. We will not be doing the quick, rapid pace, tap screen. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, watch last video. We were in true agony over Koyanskaya just taking funds out of my wallet. And then later on, if you need to go watch it, but later on there was some outside forces interfering with me giving Koyanskaya more money. I won't go into the details, but yeah, that happened. But we nonetheless got Koyanskaya to MP4, which was amazing. But speaking of Noble Phantasm 4, Oberon. I looked over his Noble Phantasm. I was thinking really hard. And I know I said it's a rule of mine, my own rule, personal rule, that if I'm rolling for an AoE servant, I have to get them to MP4. But looking at Oberon in my current Saint Quartz, as you can see in the top corner, to be honest, I'm fine with Noble Phantasm 2, MP2. That's gonna be our goal for this stream. We are going to go for MP2. As far as beyond that, I don't think it'll be... Like, I mean, well, obviously, if you go MP3, MP4, anything higher is better. But looking at his lawful damage that we'll get into, it's already very powerful, and the add-ons to gain the MP3 and whatnot is very minor. So, Noble Phantasm 2, we're going for 2 times Oberon. That's our goal for this stream. So with that, is there anything else? Thinking? Is there anything else? I believe... Oh, right before I get into it, actually. One last thing. So, if you don't know, this is kind of special. I don't believe it's going to be for every single banner. Although, right now, obviously, it seems like it's for every single banner, but I only think it's here until the end of any and all Lost Belt 6 campaigns, because I believe everything has to do with the 6th anniversary, like it says. But after this, any new banner that comes up, it will not have this, so this is a special occasion. But the one-time summon is basically the one-time summon that you know, except the difference is you're only paying 1 Saint Quart instead of 3. And so it's a once per day thing. I highly advise doing it. 1 Saint Quartz is, well, I mean, it's good. It's better than 3, obviously. Although it will not count towards the normal 1-time Saint Quart summon, where you get the 2 times the items or servant or CE at the end of your 10th summon. So that does not apply, I believe. I guess, like, I mean, we'll find out now, but I believe that does not happen, because from last stream, previous experience, I don't remember that happening. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So we'll do the 1-time summon, we'll do 10 1-time summon tickets, and then we'll proceed to what is Gacha Hell, and our 0.01% chance, I believe, something like that, when it comes to 5 stars. Let's look it over. 0.8. Okay, at least it's it's better than 0.001. But yeah, 0.8. That's our chances. Although I will say, which is actually really surprising, given that their 4-star, they have a lower drop rate than Oberon, which is very interesting. That's very interesting, actually. I don't know why that is. I would imagine it would be higher. I believe it's like a 1.2. I'm not sure. Either way, I know you guys want to watch me despair, but here we go. Wait a minute. What? Hold on. We gotta read. About the locked Saint Graph. Oberon's Saint Graph from Stage 3 Ascension and higher is locked. By completing the Fey Roundtable domain, Avalon Le Fey, and reaching Stage 4 Ascension, a Spirit Origin release quest will be unlocked in Interludes. Saint Graph will be unlocked upon its completion. If you're wondering what Saint Graph is, or if you don't know, it's basically when you reach the highest level of said servant, they will have like a, I guess you could say, a custom background, their own kind of background to show that, like, you've reached the highest, and that's basically what it's talking about. So I guess it's, well, 1, it's story locked, which we haven't completed the story, and 2, I guess it's some special kind of Saint Graph, which we'll have to find out at some point, but, or at a different time. But, our very first roll, let's see what we got. Servant. Assassin. Oh, I guess another goal that I didn't announce. So, while we are solely focused on Oberon, I am in dire need of MP5 Barcast. That is something that I need. I excruciatingly need. I believe there's different raid ups, another servant. I believe there's different raid ups each day. It's not our Barcast. So like, battle bonds, okay, well actually I guess I should say it. Spoilers, as far as like the true names to the 3 Tamlin Knights spoilers. Only gonna say this once. Tristan, who is other known by as Balbon Sith. Balbon Sith. AKA Tristan. Tamlin Tristan. I believe would be on raid up like tomorrow or on a Tuesday only for them. And then on like a Wednesday, it'll be Barcast on the Raid Up. I know I should be doing that if I'm focusing on Barcast, but given that Oberon just dropped and everyone's jumping in, I thought I might as well jump in too. Extremely spicy Mapo tofu. So here we are. We're gambling on pulling 2 times Oberon and MP5 Barcast. I believe I only have her at MP1. Because if you don't know, I foolishly wanted to do a couple of rolls on Melusine, who is other known as Lancelot. What? How? That's another thing I forgot. We need to keep count. You sound so cool.
おっと、自己紹介。僕はオベロン、妖精王オベロン。この通り、お飾りの王様だけど、場を和ませるのだけは得意でね。
I'm not at ease.
微力ながら君の力になってみるよ。よろしくね。
That is 4 summon tickets. 4 summon tickets. I'm sorry for the high-pitched mic, but 4 summon tickets. Okay, I'm calling it right here. If how do I want to do this? I'm gonna call it right here. If we get another Oberon Miracle drop, I will go for MP3. If we're still good to go on Saint Quartz or wherever we're at, if things seem good, I will go for an MP3. I will throw in my wallet into the middle of the table. I will let this king rob me. MP4. Or I mean, sorry. Roll number 4. Oberon. Okay. Our Fairy King, our Mothman. Oh man, okay. That was phenomenal. And that not Syncgraph. The what was that picture? I was kind of jaw dropped for a second. The like when you get a servant and it shows it's a saber or an archer or whatever, it had like a joker or something. When we get our second one, we're gonna need to pay attention. But wow, that was great. There is a high chance of possibly never getting the second Oberon now. It's probably, but I don't know. I should stop talking, to be honest. I don't want to jinx myself. We're gonna need. We just need one more. All right, here's our 2 times summon. Our final 1 times summon tickets, and then we'll move on to 11 times summons. Shinji. Can we get a servant? A pretender? No. Ilya. Okay. Alright. Here we go. 1 second. I need to get my screen up and whatnot. So I could talk about his skills and yada yada. Yada yada yada. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I want to set this up. I'm on my other screen. Oh, much better. Okay, wow, that is much better. Okay, here we go. 11 times summons starts now. We just need one more Oberon. And if things look pretty good, we're gonna go for an MP3. First servant. Archer. And I guess I should start with talking about Oberon. Okay. So, Oberon, the Fairy King. Sorry, one second. I keep messing up. Okay, Oberon, the Fairy King. So we're gonna kick it off. The very new, brand new Pretender class. Not Saber, Archer, Alter Ego, Foreigner, Avenger. No, Pretender. What does that mean? I don't know. We can assume from the name itself, Pretender. But maybe we'll find out in the story, which obviously we don't know. But moving along. The Pretender class. Who are they? Here, let me get this up, because I didn't properly prepare for this. So, from what I believe, the Pretender class is the opposite of the Alter Ego class when it comes to who they're effective against and who they're, I was gonna say disaffective, what their disadvantage is. Get this up on my screen. Okay. So yes, they are literally the opposite of alter egos. So while alter egos are weak against Saber, Archer, Lancer, Berserker. Oh wait, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm reading off my screen. Not alter egos. One second. Someone's calling me. I don't know why. We're in the middle of gacha. Another 11 times. We didn't get anything. Yada yada. Continuing on. Okay. So alter egos are weak against Sabers, Archers, Lancers, Berserkers, and Pretenders. So they are... That's interesting. Sorry, I'm just thinking this over. So they are weak to Pretenders, but the same thing can be said about Pretenders. Pretenders are weak against alter egos, so it's kind of a Berserker type situation, and being weak to everything, while at the same time doing damage, the same output. So Pretender class, they are strong, which they do effective damage against Sabers, Archers, Lancers, Berserkers, and alter egos. Neutral damage is what you would expect of an alter ego class. Ruler, Avenger, Mooncell, Mash, Eggplant, and I believe certain or specific beast class, which we won't get into. It's minor details. They are weak against, unlike alter egos, Rider, Caster, Assassin, Berserker, and Foreigner. So Pretender versus an alter ego class. Pretenders seem to be a lot more well favored, considering that there's a lot of Saber servants and or enemies, Archer, Lancer, basically those three, versus a Rider, Caster, and Assassin. So, while they are more likely favored pretenders over alter egos, it still nonetheless is the same position as alter egos when it comes to given the unique scenario of facing different classes. So it's unique. I mean, if I'm being honest, there isn't much to say on. It's just unique. Like the event, like to use Berserker as an example, while they do take damage from everyone, at the same time, what gives them the immense advantage is that they can do that same damage to everyone while taking it. Of course, people aren't too concerned about Berserkers because Berserkers are like a one-time go to inflict as much damage as possible, and or if they have a guts kind of skill or servants that can provide it. But as far as Pretender as a class, it's unique. It adds something to the pool, and I like it. Especially when it comes to story and or the gameplay itself. So, honestly, not much to talk about when it comes to the class. It's unique. Moving along. What could we get into next? We can... We'll do it like what we did with Koyanskaya, Foxy Lady. I don't know why I was forgetting her name. I have her grailed and I forgot her name. So, alignments to kind of keep in mind. Chaotic and evil. And to go along with that, basic traits. I will not mention the ones that are not really paid much attention to or have any effect in the gameplay whatsoever, but the traits that he does have, he is a dragon, he is of course a fairy, a humanoid, a king, and something that is minor, but I guess I could point out, he is a riding servant. So like if you have like Oda Nobunaga, if you know her Noble Phantasm does extra damage against riding servants. Basically any saber, but apparently he's riding. And he is a threat to humanity, which there are specific servants that do extra buff damage in Kidu. Not recently, but did get a buff that does extra special attack damage to threats of humanity. And then I believe Mysterious Heroine XX does that special damage too with her. I believe it's her skill. I don't think it's her Noble Phantasm. Still nothing. We got a Kaleidoscope. I feel like we've already gotten plenty of Kaleidoscopes, to be honest. So the traits are okay. Is chaotic is nice to have, especially if I'm not remembering at the moment, but there is specific servants that do give oh, I believe Ashia Doman. I believe he does have a skill that does raise the attack, I believe, when it comes to chaotic servants and or evil servants. So there are unique people like that. Another name that I just thought of, James Moriarty, the Archer, but nothing to really talk about when it comes to that. It's something to keep in mind. It's specific things, like certain servants doing special damage or giving buffs, granting them. Move along to the first skill. Of course, I will be talking about the maxed out, because there's no point in talking about skill 1, because obviously you're going to max it. Another servant. Saber. Still no 4 stars, sadly. I really want my Black Dog Marghost. no CE. So, first skill. I was gonna say Curtain of the Night, but Curtain of the Night X increases party's MP damage for 3 turns. So that 3 turns is a 30% MP buff, which is very good, because normally when it comes to buffs in general, it's usually like a 20%. So a 30% is very good. And to add on to that, charges party's MP gauge by 20%. So, I mean, you're getting an MP buff too, to further support going into doing Noble Phantasm stuff, whether that's looping or just farming or getting damage in. And this is a 5-turn cooldown, so as far as if you have a Koyanskaya or if you have a... Well, it's actually recommended that you have a Koyanskaya, but if you do have a Koyanskaya and you bring another one to your party and you're using the Mystic Code that does reduce the cooldown, you can loop this pretty easily. I'm sure the second skill will have something of that similar sort. So moving along, second skill, Morning Lark X. Gotta itch my ear very quickly. Charges one ally's MP gauge. That MP charge being 50%, so basically a Skathoth Scotty kind of MP gain. Except there is a downgrade and an upgrade compared to Scotty's MP gain. So, charges one ally's MP gauge 50%. 500% chance to grant them delayed debuff for 1 turn, treated as a buff. Reduces their MP gauge by 20% after 1 turn. So that is the downside. Although, for Buster units, this won't be too big of a concern, having their MP gauge reduced by 20%, because as you know, Busters that use their Noble Phantasm and or Buster command cards in general aren't getting any MP from it, so it's something that's minor but more or less affects quick and arts users, so Oberon's kind of leaning into that Buster area, and that's the downside. And of course, as you heard, I said that there was an upside as well to this. You do gain critical stars, and the amount is 20. 20 being a very good critical stars. If I had to say, if it was like 10 critical stars, it would have been iffy. Because 10 critical stars, especially right off the bat, turn 1, isn't that great. But 20 is most definitely worth it. Especially if you have a Koyanskaya, you can use their buffs to rope in the C-star gather rate for a specific servant, and that just goes well with it. Still nothing. We got Black Rail, very much needed. It's already locked. But still no 4-star. I need a Barcast. We're slowly starting to catch up on the Saint Courts. I'm not sure if we're gonna go for MP3 if I'm being honest. Servant? Assassin? Nothing. Let's take a break from this from Oberon for a second. Let's see. Another Servant? Nah, nothing. So he does gain the 20 critical stars, which is very good. The only downside to the skill obviously being the reduces their MP gauge by 20% after 1 turn. So right after you're done doing your stuff, it immediately downgrades 20%. So it's more or less use both your command cards, whatever they may be, and then use your Noble Phantasm, and then you'll get the debuff, and then just repeat the process and use Koyanskaya to get your MP back. Servant? Come on! No. So, passive skills. Oh, like I said, sorry, I guess I'll repeat it. The third skill we will not be going over. Because in the gameplay, like I said before, I have not completed Lost Belt 6. And while we did get to play as Oberon, we did not see his third skill. We could only use his first and second. And if that's the case, he was at level 92, so it wasn't like it was blocked, like it was level 70 or something. Because it wasn't there, I would assume it has to do with spoilers, or something about it would be spoilers, maybe the name, maybe what it does. And so because I am a story fanatic, I will not be going over it. So I'm sorry to say that. But I will not be covering the third skill, although I'm sure it's probably amazing. Or has some... Here, I'll leave it at this. If it has anything to do with increasing the MP gauge, then this will kind of, like, what would I say? This would, forgive me, I'm trying to find the words how to say this. If his third skill has anything to do with further increasing the MP gauge, even though his first and second already increased the MP gauge, if his third skill has something like that, then this is definitely a grade A servant, I can say. Although I'm sure that might not be the only part of the skill, but like I said, I don't know, I haven't seen it. Our last 30 times summon, although it isn't our last, because from then on we will be reaching into Avalon's funds to give it to the Fairy King. Hopefully he does not take that much, but who knows. Continuing on, I will not be covering the third skill. I already mentioned everything. So with that, we will questionably be going over the passive skills, which I said before, the passive skills you don't really need to look at. Like, you can see, oh, like, to throw an example out right now, territory creation increases own arts performance by 1.5%. That's good. Any buff in general is good, but like when it comes to that stuff, it's already built into the servant, so it's not too much to really like look at. The only time you should really be looking at the passive skills of servants is when it has stuff like this. For example, to use from Oberon himself, a Midsummer Night's Dream X grants self-mental debuff immunity. That being anything covering sleep, charm, charm resistance down, confusion, more confusion apparently as I'm reading, eternal sleep, delayed debuff on terror, and what is this final one? Bewitchment. I'm sure there are certain servants that have bewitchment, they aren't coming to mind. And an added on effect, grants self-curse debuff immunity. So there are plenty of servants that do inflict curse, whether that's, I believe Jeon d'Arc Alter does it? Jalter? Unless I'm mistaking it for Burn, Noble Phantasm. I believe she does do a curse at the end of her Noble Phantasm. But, people like Ashia Doman that rely heavily on curses, especially the Foreigner class, Van Gogh, servants like that. Basically, he'll have immunity debuff to curses, which is wonderful. And from now on, Amazon. I was gonna say Amazon. No, Avalon will now be giving out funds to the Fairy King, and hopefully he's going to accept it. Hopefully, maybe it'll charm him. Who knows? But with that, we will be right back very quickly. 1 second. Or well, oh, forgive me. I forgot we have our, forgive me, I forgot we have our wonderful Lasangle Fate Grand Order developers coming in clutch with our Saint Court fragments for a final 30 times summon. That will not be the final if I don't get Oberon. Because from then on, we're reaching into our Avalon funds. That should be going to stream and should be going to a new mic. Because as you can tell, I do not have a new mic. If I'm being honest, I need to get off my lazy butt and just order it. I already have all the equipment. I just need the mic itself. I could, I know I kept promising that I was gonna get a new mic at a certain point and that I would have it up and ready. I've been avoiding it. I could say without a doubt by Monday I will have it up and running because I did order it and it should be here by like Friday, which is tomorrow. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. I guess we can dedicate this time to watching Worlds. And then we'll have to reach into Avalon's funds, get that going, then we'll start Worlds again and we'll continue with our passive skills. I don't know what number this is. I think we're on like the 8th roll. Under the Sun, De Apocrypha. But so far, Oberon himself is looking pretty good as far as the skills go. Of course, we don't know the 3rd skill, but like I said, if it has anything to do with MP game, yeah, this is an A tier servant at the moment in my book. Last roll, I think? Servant? Fairy King? Rider? Oh, I will admit I cannot believe we still have not pulled an SR servant, whether that's Vargas, Tristan. Oh, okay. Now we're reaching. Now we're reaching to Avalon's funds. I will be right back. A quick second. Uno momento. I'm gonna lose my mind. 1 second. What? Forgive me, stream. 1 second. This is not what I want to do. No. Back. 1 second. Ugh. I'll at least keep the music on, so it's not just bland. I cannot believe that there's interference again. Oh, oops. Forgive me. Sorry. Okay, let's try this again. 1 second. I'm gonna lose my mind if we're having problems again. I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay. Try this again. One last time. Thank the Lord. It worked. I am so sorry, stream. We're back. We're live. We're back. Alright, let's get started. Oh dear Lord. Okay. Ugh. The next time we do rolls, which probably won't be for a while, or at least I think it won't be for a while. I know summer's coming up. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do for summer. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough funds in Avalon. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know what I was getting at. All I know is that Avalon is going bankrupt. All for the Fairy King. Back to the servant. Okay, so passive skills, I was basically just going over. You don't really need to look at any of them. They're not too big of a concern. The only time you should really look at passive skills is when it has to do with being immune to certain things, or maybe some other things that I'm not aware of, but it's mainly immune. So of course we already went over, I'll repeat it the last time. A Midsummer Night's Dream grants self-mental debuff immunity, so that's sleep, charm resistance, confusion, eternal sleep when you're already asleep, and terror, and immunity to curses. And hold on. I guess I could say this. Increases party's debuff success rate by 10% against enemies except foreigner enemies, while self is on field, including sub-members. And has a 500% chance to reduce the buff success rate of Merlin allies by 20% while self is on field. And we can look at the examples for what not Merlin allies are, because it doesn't actually show, which is interesting. Huh. Interesting. It's not too big, to be honest. It's minor. Another 11 times summon. Finally. Or actually, I shouldn't say finally, because we still have the Holy Grail, whether you should grail or not. Onto the last part about Oberon, and that is his noble phantasm. Lie Rhyme Goodfellow. or other known as Tale of Dreams Told Over Yonder. It is an AoE buster Noble Phantasm. Deals damage to all enemies. Removes their offensive buffs after dealing damage. Of course, offensive buffs being attack up, quick, arts, buster, special damage, basically anything, critical attack, chance up, anything having to revolve around attack damage in general of any form. And then after doing damage and removing offensive buffs, inflicts a sleep status for 1 turn to them. And also, while inflicting sleep, gives them invincibility for 1 turn. So right after using the Noble Phantasm, they will be invincible, unless you have a skill or a servant or a CE that can attack through invincible. Of course, when doing so, if you were to do that, that will remove the sleep status, because you are attacking them and it will wake them up. It isn't. So asleep, the status effect asleep is the same as stun. It's just, it's applied after a turn. Or it's applied for 1 turn, but if they receive damage of any form, I believe physical damage, not actually effect damage, they will... Well, I mean, they won't be stunned anymore. They'll wake up. So the invincibility is there to kind of guarantee, like, oh, the stun remains there. Still no 4-star servant. I'm actually pretty devastated. I am focused on getting our Fairy King to MP2, but I'm devastated that we have not just gotten loads of 4-star servants. Another 11 times. So he deals damage to everyone, removes any and all offensive buffs, pretty nice, inflicts a sleep status, which is basically a stun as long as you don't deal damage to them, but to prevent that, it also grants them invincibility to basically keep that stun on them. So right off the bat, it's unique, and it's an interesting way to kind of... It's different. It's really unique, I could say. I said this before when we played him, or used him in Lost Belt 6, in story mode, when we were fighting Barghest. I said it before and I'll say it again. Basically, his Noble Phantasm is if you're wanting to get in as much damage as possible and whatnot, and or C-stars or just whatever your strat could be, you basically want to use all of your command cards first, so your normal attacks first, and then save his Noble Phantasm for last. Unless you want to go with a different strat and you have a servant that can ignore invincibility and go about it a different way, but you're most likely going to be using the command cards first. The last part, the critical part to this Noble Phantasm, the add-on and or the overcharge effect, deals extra damage to enemies with lawful alignment. Of course, we do and or can go into examples for servants that do have lawful alignment. So servants such as Mash, Altria, almost any, and well, forgive me, 1 second. So any and all Altria variants, whether that's Alter or Summer or anything of the sort, are basically lawful. So you can apply Altria, Altria Lily, I believe it's Altria Alter. You can apply all of those. Those servants do have lawful alignment. Gilsday Rays, Rama, Lancelot, Gawain, basically all the Knights of the Round Table, including Arthur Pendragon, Prince of Lang Ling, Wang, Beni Enma, Lakshmi Bai, Jason, Karna. Apparently Ishtar's lawful. That's actually surprising. Chiron, William Tell, and I mean it basically goes on. Of course, if you'd like to know where I'm getting this from and or want to know, I am using the FateGrandOrderFandom.com. It's a pretty reliable place. If you want another place or maybe another option, Game Press is also a nice place. Just basically Game Press, Fate Grand Order, and you'll see. Something will pop up. Go into Google. But as I was getting at with the Noble Phantasm, the last add-on effect that kind of gives it the extra push into being good is the deals extra damage to enemies with lawful alignment. And that extra special damage is 150% damage, which is, well, for specific servants that have similar effect as this one does with deals extra damage, is pretty basic and or normal, and that's not a bad thing at all. 150% is a lot compared to, like, if we were to use an example, his first skill gives you a 20%, or sorry, a 30% MP damage buff, and that's pretty good. And then you compare it to this, which is 150% extra damage. That's a lot. That's very good, considering if you manage to fight a lawful alignment servant. So this is a pretty good. It gives you that extra push as far as his Noble Phantasm. If you were to just look at his Noble Phantasm as deals damage to all enemies, removes their offensive buffs, inflicts a basic stun, which is a sleep, and invincibility. Honestly, this would be a unique Noble Phantasm, but it's pretty weak. Like, given that it does have the deals extra damage to enemies with lawful alignment, is pretty nice. It does give that extra push. It makes it more unique than it already is. So it's pretty good. And it's another reason why I don't want to kind of go into MP4, because I don't see too much of the point. Because when it comes to going MP1, MP2, MP3, MP4, MP5, we could go over the damage. Like at MP level 1, which is just Oberon by himself, is 300%, MP2, 400%, and then this is where it kind of starts to downgrade a little bit. MP3 is a 50% added on buff compared to MP2, which was a total of 100%, and that's kind of my cutoff region for why I want to stop there, especially given that Avalon's funds is starting to deplete. I really don't want to get into it. And then if you were to get him to MP4, it's an extra 25%, and then MP5 is same thing, extra 25%. So I don't see the worth in going all the way to 500% when we can just sell for 400%, which is nice already as it is. With that, the almost Saber Arcast. Gawain, you're a Chad, but why are you here? Another servant? Can we re-roll this? Lancer? Nothing. Okay. That sucked, but whatever. Gawain, you're cool, but I'm looking for our big lady. Our big black dog, Vargas. Rider, anything. We're diverting from Oberon for a second. Can we get another servant? Servant? No, see. Innocent maiden. Okay. So, we will be getting into should you not grill. Forgive me, we shouldn't be going in. Well, actually, yeah, let's go into that. There's another thing that I just realized that we can get into, but let's go into that. Should you grill Oberon? I will be going over the level 100. I will not be talking about the level 120, but I will be talking about the level 100 Grail attack and the HP. The level 100 Grail attack, or sorry, forgive me. Let me start from the basics. So Oberon by himself, that's not grilled, is 11k attack, 13k HP. Pretty basic. Of counting that there is no foe buff involved. If you were to add in the 1k foe, it would be 12k, 12.8k, and 14.2k, which is pretty basic, pretty decent. There's not much to really say on. But if you were to grail him to, let's say, 100, his grail attack would be 12.9k, but if you were to add in foe, it'd be 13.9k. And his HP would be 14.9k, and adding in foe would be 15.9k. So just right on that verge of the 9s, basically. Stats wise, I mean, it's okay. There's not much to go on, to be honest. If it was a Berserker, obviously the attack would be way up there, which would be nice, but he's not a Berserker, he's a Pretender. The most unique class in the game. But with that, we will be taking a sidetrack as I go into the BRB screen. Oh no, wait. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Sorry, something else popped up. Okay. Never mind. We're good. Something happened. I thought it was gonna mess up stream, but no, we're good. We're still good. Although, but then again, when I think about it, we're not good because I'm Oberon's starting to really like. If I'm being honest, Oberon has thrown away my wallet and is currently putting his hands into my pocket and pulling out whatever's in my pockets. We're at that point. Oh, you don't even see the screen, my bad. Here we go. The rolls continue. The pain and suffering continues. As I was saying, his stats are pretty basic. There's nothing much to go on. Now, should you grail him? There is a short answer and a long answer. The short answer is this kind of applies to any and all servants. I mean, if you're gonna grail him, you're improving him. And that goes for all servants. You're improving them. You're improving the damage output, the HP, the survivability. You're buffing everything that's about them. The MP damage, damage in general. Any servant, yeah, and to grail them is nice. The long answer, should you grail him? If we were to look back at his first skill, he grants MP gain and grants a party's MP damage, which is a good 30%. The second skill is charges one ally's MP gauge, including himself, and gains C stars, already very good. And I said, we can't look at his third skill, but if it has anything to do with further charging his NP and or others' MP, there we go! There we go! There you are! Oh my god. Can we get another one? Here's another servant. Okay. Tristan, you know what, I'm gonna say it. Tristan, I don't need you. Barg has obliterated your ass. We need a Barghest. We got our Fairy King. Okay. Sorry about that. We got our Fairy King. Okay. As for his second skill. Where was Sorry, not his second skill. His third skill. Forgive me. if it has I said this before, if it has anything to do with increasing the MP gauge, it's already very good. If it has anything to do with increasing damage to himself, specifically to himself, then I would say it would be nice to give him that, if it increases the MP gauge and it grants damage, you know what? Okay, you know what? I changed my mind. Sorry, we're gonna go over his third skill. We're not gonna look at his name, or at least, well, I'm not gonna look at the name of it. So I will not be saying the name, but I will be looking over the skill. If the skill itself seems to have some form of spoilers, or it seems like it, I'll stop, but I won't look at the name. I'm pretty sure it's specifically the name that might have something to do with something. So if that, we'll be going over the third skill. So, increases one ally's buster performance for 1 turn. So right here, it already confirmed that there is some added in damage buff. Now, increase one ally's buster performance for 1 turn, specifically 1 turn. And that buff is 50%, which is basically a Merlin and or a Koyanskaya. And that's very good. The only problem is it's 1 turn, but nonetheless, if you're going for buster, then you're going for damage, so 50% is good. Right after that, grants them NP damage up boost for 1 turn. Sorry, I had to reread that because that was an interesting wording. Grants them MP damage up boost for 1 turn. There's parentheses, MP damage up boost. Temporary multiplies the value of MP damage up. Unstackable. Okay. Forgive me, this is something that's new. And if it's what I think it is, then this is very, very powerful. MP damage up boost temporarily multiplies the value of MP damage up. So I think you use his third skill first, then you use his first skill, which I believe it doesn't say 2 times or anything of the sort, but I would imagine doubles it. So from a 30% damage, MP damage buff, it would be like a 60%. If I'm reading that right, or assuming. If that is the case, that is very, very scary for the opponent, whoever you're facing. That is very powerful then, to get that much damage. Although it's 1 turn, but nonetheless, it makes sense that it is 1 turn. For stream's sake, I will do 1 final 11 times summon while we go over this. So we do have the Fairy King indeed, and honestly, I'd say that's basically it. I did say we were going to go for MP3, but obviously we were nowhere close. I was already lucky enough that we got Oberon on our 4th summon ticket, which was awesome. But nonetheless, he ended up reaching into my pockets and started pulling out money, and he ran off. But then he came back and said he was going to join our party, so that's great. So with that, we'll go with a final 11 times summon as we go over his third skill. Servant? Caster? Nothing. Okay. If it is what I think it is, where it actually multiplies the MP damage, that is very powerful. So it's already looking good. You have the buster performance and the MP damage boost. The MP damage boost by itself, not even the multiplier, but by itself is 100%, which is insane. there is a 500 chance to grant them delayed debuff for one time. Treat as buff, ignores debuff resistance, stuff you can ignore. Sorry, forgive me 1 second. At the end, sorry, to continue along with that, so 500% chance to grant them delayed debuff for one time. At the end of the turn, grants them the effects below. 1000% chance to remove their buffs. A 500% chance to grant them Eternal Sleep debuff. Eternal Sleep. Similar to Stun. Unlike Stun, this status will ignore the debuff, resistance, and immunity. An affected target would be unable to be selected as sacrifice. Meaning if, for whatever reason, I think this is pertaining to servants that actually sacrifice other servants. That being, what's his name? I'm forgetting. Gong. What's his name? It's Chang Gong, I think. He's a caster. He's like a 1 or 2 star caster. Part of Lu Bu's army. And one of his skills has to do with sacrificing a servant and or basically killing him. So I think it's pertaining to that. But right after that, a 500% chance to draw attention of all enemies to them by 300% for 3 turns. And to round it out, there is a 500% chance to seal their order change. So basically you can't switch them out. So let me do a very quick recap of this. So this is all... How weird. So I have to reread this. This is a lot of information to kind of go on. Okay, alright, so, sorry, okay. I see how this works. Okay. Sorry, I was very confused reading this skill. So, this is, all of these effects that we just went over have to do, or applied to one servant of your choosing. So you get the increases one ally's buster performance for 1 turn, while also granting them the MP damage up boost, which we've already gone over, the 50% buster and the 100% MP damage boost multiplied the total amount of MP damage boost that you have. The downside to this, which is at the same time an upside, and this kind of goes well with this servant, you get a 1-turn debuff that happens after you're done with your turn. You'll get what is called Eternal Sleep, and it is a stun on one of your servants, and is similar to his Noble Phantasm, where you inflict sleep onto the enemy. And like I said before, if you damage the enemy by doing a physical attack, it will wake up, and that stun won't be there anymore. So that's why there's that invincible there. So you don't wake up the enemy, and the stun can be applied, which is the sleep. Now in this case, Eternal Sleep, not asleep, but Eternal Sleep, is a debuff that you cannot remove no matter what. So if you're to use Altria Caster, her Noble Phantasm, it removes all debuffs. It will not remove Eternal Sleep. Eternal Sleep will stay there. But, the good thing about this, and this kind of goes in line with the, basically gaining some NP, and this goes very, very good when it comes to Avengers and taking MP, or sorry, not taking MP. When it comes to Avenger class, when they take damage, they gain more NP than other classes. So this goes well in line with Avenger classes if you happen to be using a Buster Avenger, or just honestly Avenger in general. Because if let's say you were to give this skill to an Avenger, it will give them the Eternal Sleep, but there is a 500% chance, which is a guaranteed, so I basically shouldn't say 500%. It will attract and or chance to draw attention of all enemies to them by 300% for 3 turns. So if Avengers are taking damage, they're going to start racking up the MP gain off of that. But the good thing about this debuff, the Eternal Sleep, it is the same as a sleep debuff that you do on the Noble Phantasm, and your servant will wake up upon receiving damage. So in a way, it was never there to begin with, if you get what I'm saying. As long as you receive some physical damage. If you do not receive physical damage, your servant will be stunned for that turn. And that's kind of the downgrade, but that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be in that position. And I guess the last part, you cannot switch them out. So if you want to use your Mystic Code to switch them out, or maybe use Miss Crane to try and switch it out, it will not work. So looking at his third skill, very, very unique and new. Is it good? The Buster is good. The MP damage up boost is 100%, which is very good. If what I'm thinking is correct about that multiplier on MP damage up, if that is like a double MP damage, considering any and all MP damage buffs that you give to that specific servant, that is very, very scary good Buster wise. That is very scary as far as the game goes. And from what I've heard, I will be bringing this in. It isn't spoilers, so no worries. I believe we will be getting more harder, challenging nodes. So you know how when you go into, I believe they're called quests, right? Mission quests. How there's a difficulty. They're like it'll say they're level 60, level 80. You can go into Chaldea game, look at the farming, like it'll say level 15. From what we know, there is the hardest is 90 plus level. And I saw on Twitter that we are going to be getting a 90 plus 2 times plus challenging nodes from now on, apparently. So I think this kind of goes in line with Buster starting to really break through the doors as far as damage output and whatnot. Not even MP gain, but just outputting all that damage. So we will be getting more challenging nodes, which will be really interesting. And in my opinion, very cool, because it grants us more, oh, we gotta strategize. We can't obviously just throw in our farming, our Chaldea Gate farming servants and Garabond up. But yeah, his third skill, very unique and different in a good way. There's downsides that have very easy, quick upsides to them. So I did say if his third skill had anything to do with increasing the MP gain, it would already be a good skill. Obviously, this skill does not have anything of the sort. Technically, you can say it does because of the target focus on your own servant, but it's not as good as getting MP gain up. But as far as the cluster damage and the MP damage boost, that well over makes up not having the MP gain. So with that, we can go back to our very original topic. I will say very quickly right now, I will be doing a final 11 times summon, although I will save it for basically the end of the stream and or video if you're watching it as a video. So getting back to it, should you grail for Oberon? The short version I already gave you. If you grail any servant, it's good. If you want to grail him, it's gonna help him, just like any other servant. If he is your husband, hey, if he's your king, grail him. You can grail him. His damage outputs are pretty decent. His lawful noble phantasm effects is pretty decent. Stats are basically. Yeah, short answer, grail him. Sure, go for it. Long answer, after seeing his third skill, should you grail Oberon? You shouldn't. Of course, I will say this right off the bat. You should not need to grail him. He himself, as a level 90, is good enough. And this kind of goes in line with my short answer. If you grail any servant, they're gonna be better. It's should you grail him? Does he need a grail? He does not need a grail. To kind of further sum this up and make it more simpler, if I were to use the Onra Mainu users and or players, masters are gonna hate me for this. Onra Mainu, I believe I'm saying it, Onra Mainu, the Avenger, the 1-star Avenger by the Black Holy Grail. I'm sorry, he is a terrible servant. A god-awful servant. He is so terrible. I'm gonna use him as an example. He is a perfect example of he needs a grail to even get him up into the I'd say like a 3-star servant area, not even a 4-star if I'm being entirely honest. His skills are very different. His one skill is very powerful while his second skill is like a decreased critical. It's very bad. I won't be going into too much detail, but he is a perfect example of a servant that needs any kind of buff, whether that's his skills or stats. Like, so basically what I'm saying is he's a perfect example of he's a servant that needs a grail in order to even like get up into the 3-star kind of region. But does Oberon need a grail? No, he does not. If you want to grail him, you can grail him. Like I said, going with the short answer, if you grail any servant, it increases their damage output, increases their HP. It's gonna benefit them. It's the fact of, does Oberon need it? He does not need it. His skills go well in line in doing damage, so it works if you grail for him. But as far as if he needs it, he doesn't need it. He's fine. He's a pretty good servant looking at everything. Last but not least, I will say his Bond 10 CE spoilers. If you don't want to know, I'm not going to say the name of it for my own sake because I don't want to know until I get them. I will be reading what his CE does though. So spoilers. 110 spoilers. Oberon. Increases party's damage against lawful alignment enemies by 20% while he is on the field. Not bad. Not bad. So, it isn't, oh, increase buster effectiveness, increase arts, increase quick. No, it is specific and on the point. Lawful alignment enemies by 20%. So, any damage he does, whether that's buster, arts, quick, or noble phantasm, just any form of damage, is improved by 20% against lawful aligned enemies. That is great. It isn't some basic 20% buster to all allies or anything. The best part about it is it's applied to your entire party. It isn't just Oberon. So, of course, the downside is it's specific to lawful alignment, but not bad. Very good, not bad at all. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Not bad. I guess to finally round it out, should you roll for Oberon, the Fairy King? Midnight Summer Dream, Shakespeare. Should you roll for him? I can say I don't remember what my answer was for Koyanskaya. I don't remember what I said for my answer for Koyanskaya, if you should roll for her. I believe it had something to do with Buster, and I'm gonna apply it here. If you are looking to get a Buster support unit, he is your Fairy King. He is your fairy. He is your guy. As far as Buster wise is. To have him as a servant in general is not bad. I mean, if you roll for him, if you like, let's say you get a lucky roll, that is a godlike lucky roll. Sorry, I'm kind of dancing around the topic. If you are looking to get into Busters, if you don't have Koyanskaya and you kind of want to get into Busters, I would roll for him. He's a definite Buster supporter. If you do have Koyanskaya, I would still say the same. If you have a Koyanskaya, then I would already assume that you're looking to getting into Buster, looping, and or damage output. And if so, then I would roll for Oberon. If you are in no way looking to get into Busters, don't roll for him. Yeah, don't roll for him. Obviously, stay in your quick lane, servant lane, or arts, whatever you do. Don't worry, I'm an arts user too. It's okay, we get it. But yeah, if you're not looking to get into Buster, then obviously don't roll for him. If you want to roll for him in general, I mean, I'm not stopping you. Roll for him. He's cool. He's a cool guy. Honestly, this is off topic, although it's somewhat on topic because it's about him. He sounds so different from what I would imagine he would sound. His voice, I don't know why. I imagined his voice being a little lighter. Not childlike, but somewhere around there. Like maybe a teen kind of voice. But no, I like his voice. He sounds great. He's a cool guy. As you know, we still think he's very sus and possibly Barrel Guts' servant. Although we did find out that Morgan is his servant, but then again, there's still theories roaming around. But with that, I'll save that for our next part, Lost Belt 6 Part 7. And we'll hop off that topic and right back onto our finale, and that is doing our last 11-time summon and ending stream. MP3 maybe? I don't know. I mean, if we get it, hey. But if I'm being entirely honest, I could really use a Barghest. At least an MP2 Barghest. That's all I'm asking. Or a 4-star in general would be nice. Assassin, nothing. With how many rolls we did, I'm actually pretty devastated. We got more Oberons than we did any other 4-star. Caster, nothing. I believe summer is around the corner. Summer event. As you know, I don't know anything of what summer is gonna be like. I will say this right now, as far as rolling for summer, I will not be rolling for any servants for summer, although I have not seen any of the servants yet, so while I am saying no right now, it could immediately quickly change to, oh yes, I'm going to roll for a specific servant, but we'll have to wait and see. For now, I am most definitely saying no. Before Awakening, wonderful looking sea, artwork wise. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see who's coming out in summer. And yeah, I guess to wrap up stream, after this stream I will be working on the next thumbnail for part 7 of Lost Belt number 6 part 7, Avalon with it. I will be working on it and I will post it, and I believe in like an hour, I'd say. Last spin, I think, CE. Top it off with some Mapo Tofu. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what to say. I don't want to jinx it and just have my next rolls be god-awful. But... You know what? No. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Rolls... Our pulls were nice. They weren't bad. They were pretty nice. Especially getting Oberon on our 4th summon ticket was definitely a big surprise. Although right after that, he started running away with my money. Well, specifically Avalon's money, but we got him. At least he came back. He came back with some, I don't know, Taco Bell or something. Burger King. He came back with some Burger King. But with that, I think that concludes it. I already said it, but I guess I could say it. Should you roll for Oberon? Short answer, yes. Long answer, if you're looking to getting into busters, yes. If you don't already have buster supports, but are looking to getting into busters, whether that's looping or damage, yes. If you are not looking to get into busters at all, do not roll him. I don't know why you would roll him. Unless he is your husband. If he is your man, you pull your man. It is understandable. But with that, I think we're done. I don't know if I'd say this was a successful stream because I was having some interference. And I apologize for that. I will say the next time we do something like this, which I have no idea when will be, maybe summer, even though I said no, it will be more well organized, and I will have things properly set up. Especially given that our Mothman has literally just appeared like a Pokemon battle. Like a trainer just sprinting out of the bushes and asking to battle. But yeah, with that, pulls or summons were awesome. for anyone and everyone, whether that's the stream or the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot from my summary. I believe we pretty much covered everything and or the important parts, basic important parts, and less important parts. Yeah. Of course, like the video. I guess I should throw this up. YouTube, Julius Faye. How else will you find me? Or how else would you know? Twitter, Julius Faye _ JULIUSFAE _ right on time. I am actually losing my voice. I can hear it right now, so this is a perfect time to end stream. Instagram, coming at some point. I need to get off my lazy butt, get my mic set up, get everything set up, do my thumbnail, and then possibly make my Instagram. For those of you wondering, what is the Instagram going to be about? Am I just reposting what I'm posting on Twitter? No, I am not. I will be posting manga panels on Instagram because I am a fellow weeb, if you have not already known. Since moving from Avalon into this world, I have been getting into a lot of manga books. But then again, I guess I am lying. I am getting a little bit into manga. I'm mainly on the anime side though. But on Instagram, I will be posting clean, crystal clean manga panels and or making my own manga panels. And of course, I don't want to spoil it, but you'll see exactly what I mean in, I believe, about a week. I will say I probably will have it up in a week. But with that, Julius Faye _ Twitter, JULIUSFAE _ YouTube, Julius Faye. How else would you be watching me? Of course you know it's Julius Faye. Instagram, coming possibly next week. And with that, rolls were good. I could say good morning, Avalon. But then again, as the time, it is not morning, it's good night. So this is your king, Julius, and I wish you a good night. If you're watching this as a video, please like and subscribe. It helps me. If you don't, I enjoy your company. Please like that. I'm gonna, yeah, no, just end it. This is already a bad take. End it. All right, good night. Julius Faye's out. Good night.